Hey guys, Cohesive Friendship Unit here. I am Chris and I'm joined with Jeremy,
Yeah, boy.
Brian,
What's going on?
and Jake.
Hey guys.
And we're going to talk about Microsoft today, specifically Sea of Thieves and their 2018 year. So, Sea of Thieves came out 2 days ago now, and it's currently sitting at a 67 on Metacritic, which is pretty bad. And that wouldn't be a huge issue if, like, Halo 6 or something else was coming out this year. But as of right now, the exclusives you have to look forward to as an Xbox owner is State of Decay 2 coming out in May, and that's a $30 game, so you can take that with a grain of salt. And Crackdown 3, which was announced at the Xbox One's unveiling in 2012. So the odds of that actually coming out fairly up in the air. Um, but that kind of got me thinking. Sea of Thieves came out 67 on Metacritic, fairly mediocre. If you own an Xbox, you're probably getting a little tired because last year, pretty much all you had was Forza and Cuphead. And Cuphead wasn't really even developed by Microsoft. It was more published by Microsoft. So even then, kind of a stretch. On top of that, Sea of Thieves is published by Rare, who, legendary developer back in the day, GoldenEye, Banjo-Kazooie, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Donkey Kong Country, Killer Instinct, a lot of great games. And this was kind of the first time since Microsoft acquired them that they were allowed to kind of go loose. So there were a lot of high hopes on this. So where are we with Microsoft and specifically the Xbox brand? Like, do you think this is part of their plan? Do you think this is like, do you think they care? Do you think they're just not de-emphasizing exclusives? Do you think they're struggling somehow internally? What do you think's going on?
I think the consoles are stupid and people are starting to, well, in this day and age, let me preface that with in this day and age, consoles are stupid. Like, Jeremy and I were just playing GTA Online this afternoon, and I was playing on an Xbox controller thinking, gee, this is like when I played this on my 360, except it's better in every single way that I can think of. And the computer that I'm using was cheaper than an Xbox, and I don't have to pay however much they're charging for Xbox Live now to play games with people online. It just doesn't, consoles are, they had their day in the sun, but they're kind of dying out unless you want to do stuff like Nintendo's doing with the
Yeah,
Switch that
innovate.
it can't. Right, it's something that a PC physically cannot do.
Or
Yeah.
PlayStation, who has fantastic exclusives and
Right,
decent hardware.
and
Well,
Xbox was always kind of a me too, you know.
Right.
well, see, I don't know. So let's like remember, like, why did people buy the original Xbox?
They didn't.
Halo and
Halo.
Xbox Online.
And why did people buy? Like, people did buy into the Xbox ecosystem through, Gears of War, Halo, Forza Horizon, things like that. They had system sellers, and they seemingly don't care anymore. And all exclusives from this point forward, like Sea of Thieves included, are not only Xbox, but they're co-released on PC. So there's if you have a PC, there's absolutely there's no incentive to buy an Xbox One if you want to play Halo 6 because it will come out on PC.
Well, the other thing you got to
That's good
consider is like it's not really looking so great. Not it's not looking so great, but like Microsoft's corner, they haven't had a whole lot of successes recently either.
That
Maybe
is
it's
true.
them kind of pulling back from the markets that they know they're not going to continue to make money in.
So you think they're pulling out of Xbox slowly? They're just letting it kind of.
Yeah, because they're especially with a couple of the I forget exactly when it was, but I installed a newer build of Windows 10. It was definitely last year, like last summer. And I noticed there was all sorts of Xbox stuff on it. And they were really pushing like the integration with the Xbox One controller and PC. Um, so I think that yeah, it is going to kind of go to hopefully not what games for Windows or Windows Games Live or whatever the hell they called that thing was. That was an abomination. But knowing Microsoft, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what Xbox turns into within the next 5 years.
So I mean, like we got to remember though, like Xbox was the number one console back in the Gears Halo day, and at this point, well, no one really wants an Xbox. It's still superior hardware. It's still cross-play. It's got arguably better features in almost every way except for the game department, which is a serious issue, but I think they don't have the direction to actually like develop good games. They have everything else. As long like once they get the games, they could take over the market.
But they had the games, and then they've been shutting down games kind of left and right. They shut down a game that was supposed to be developed by Platinum, Scalebound. Everyone was really looking forward to that. Again, Crackdown has been on everyone's eye for a long time. They just and it reminds me of like being in a Wii U era on Nintendo's side, where you would like literally wait 1 year for that game and just hope that it was worth the wait. I don't know. This is kind of my like crackpot idea with where Xbox is heading, and why they might not necessarily care about exclusives as much. I think that they are essentially trying to do what Valve tried to do with the Steam box, where they're just shifting Xbox to a platform that is literally just a PC. And it's Steam box's failure was the fact that they pushed Linux. Microsoft has Windows already, and Xbox essentially runs on Windows. So this would be a way for Microsoft to essentially sell a PC at a higher price that will guarantee you can play, games for 5 years or whatever. Where it's a box that's designed to play video games, but they're not necessarily supporting it as it's a brand. It'll be like if you buy a Razer desktop almost.
So I disagree on two counts. One, to go back to a discussion or a point that Brian made and Jake responded to. Brian had said that Xbox has kind of always been a me too, and then Jake was saying, at a certain point, Xbox was, the system.
PS2 was the system. PS2 was always ahead of
PS2 is the system.
Well,
the original Xbox
360 outsold the PS3.
It did
the first half.
by 0.2 million units. So the PS3
but
did,
for the first half of the life cycle, they
well,
were
in
blowing the
lifespan,
PS3.
and in terms of total life cycle sales, 360 did sell more, but that's the exception, not the rule. The original Xbox only sold 24 million units, granted a shorter lifespan, and we know that the Xbox One is not selling well. And the follow-up to all these points is that all of these Xboxes, every version of the console, has always been sold at a loss. Microsoft loses money when they sell Xboxes. So to your point, Chris, I don't see, if you're Microsoft, the money-making portion of your business, to the extent that there is one in terms of video games, and I'm not really sure that they're in video games to make money, but if you're trying to make money, it comes in the games. So I don't see the argument for, we'll make all the games available also on Steam, and that'll make our Xbox sell better.
So I see that as an Xbox Live thing. Like, they make all their money on Xbox Live.
Right.
They even did it. They tried a thing in like 2011 where you could get a free Xbox 360, and you would have to like commit to like 3 years of Xbox Live Gold or something.
Sure.
Right.
Like
so
that.
But what I'm saying is, like, if you're if you're not selling games, like, this goes to what you were saying before, if all of your exclusives, to the extent that they exist, which is not much, if they exist on PC, there's literally no reason to buy an Xbox at that point, because and if you're Microsoft, that you're just in a position where you only can lose money because everyone can buy those games on PC anyways. So I don't think they have a plan. I think that, like Brian said, I think that realistically they're probably backing away from the business a little bit.
So why did they push out the One X?
Because I don't think that they have an exit strategy.
Yeah, they have to tread water for now. and keep up with what's on the market.
It
I
would
guess
be
they
embarrassing
can't
to
just
fold.
they can't just drop the.
Right,
You
and
can
it's
just be
not
like, yeah,
really
we're
that
not-
hard to push it up to 4K.
And
You're
they
not
do
building
have
a new console.
they have name recognition. I assume they'll try and fold it into something, but I don't think it will be like this. You know what I mean? I think it could be maybe a Steam box in kind of the opposite sense if they can somehow stop selling their consoles at a loss, and then like you could run Steam on an Xbox.
I don't think that they would be running Steam. There used to be some degree of stipulation on the crossplay thing where you had, if you were going to do the crossplay, you had to do it by the Microsoft Store. So this would be like a way to, like, if you buy an Xbox, this is for like the person who doesn't want, he either doesn't care, is intimidated by, or just doesn't want to put up with building a PC or buying a PC. You buy the Xbox, and like that you're good. You know, they give you the controller, and you know the third party support will brand like Xbox compatible or whatever. And that's it. That's all you have to worry about. You don't have to worry about system requirements or anything like that.
I agree with what you're saying there, and I disagree with what Brian said earlier. I think consoles still have a place for people who are either intimidated by PC or don't want to deal with the bullshit that comes with PC gaming. But I think that for those people, the obvious choice is now PlayStation, because Xbox doesn't have anything to offer in terms of exclusives. And without exclusives, I don't know what the business model is for them.
You know, that's interesting, Chris, because I totally thought that your hypothesis that like they were pulling out of the console scene was total BS, but I'm more convinced now with points that Jeremy's been making and you that it would be really interesting if they went the route of almost turning like the Xbox into a semi pre-built PC kind of thing. And because they already have the Windows Store where you can buy PC games. And like you said, Xbox essentially runs on PC hardware. It'd be interesting if they kind of turned the Xbox into an average priced pre-built PC that you could either use as a TV console setup or as a desktop PC setup, that you could buy all their games through the Windows Store and they'd be available to you regardless of how you want to use your setup, either console or PC.
And that's basically how it is now. Like if I bought Sea of Thieves right now on the Xbox, I could play it on my PC.
Right.
It's just like they're like in this like awkward stage of transition where they're like, you know, releasing all their exclusives on PC and console, and I don't know. They're going in a direction, I think.
Well,
I just don't know what it is.
But if your exclusives are on Steam, they're not exclusive. You know what I mean? Like that's it. You've lost all your leverage in terms of trying to draw
like
consumers to your platform.
Halo will come out on the Microsoft Store. Like,
It'll be on the Microsoft. But I mean, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. If you can buy it and play it on a PC, you've still lost your leverage for. I think that they just have these IPs and they're like desperately trying to find a way to make money because the market on Xbox isn't enough.
Well,
and if
that's
games,
true.
it's just not profitable to only sell them to Xbox owners because there aren't enough of them.
Yeah, well, like you said, you make all your money off of selling the games.
Right.
So if they can, I mean, the Windows Store is kind of shit right now. But if they made it good, then they start taking that 30% cut that Steam takes.
Right.
And there's your income.
But they also don't make that many games, and the games that they make aren't that good.
Well, it's not just Xbox. They sell all games on the Windows Store.
No, yeah, I know.
So
no one wants to use it right now.
Yeah.
Or ever, since it was ever made ever.
Because Steam exists.
Yes.
Here's the thought that I had while Jake was talking about selling it kind of as like a mid-tier PC. Another direction that they could go is make it into almost like a home assistant type thing, kind of like an Alexa or one of those, because that's huge right now. They have Cortana, which is in Windows 10, and nobody wants it on their computer, so they might as well get some use out of it. You know, they have all the research and stuff that they put into Windows Phone and all that shit over the years. Why not bake that into the Xbox, make it sort of a stripped down mid-tier, have it like, if it has the Xbox logo on it, it's guaranteed to run on this. You may not get all of the games, but for this price, we can guarantee that it'll run. And look, it also has all the home entertainment media stuff, and the it'll listen to you and all that shit if that's what you want.
And I mean, at the end of the day, that's what all this is, right? Like, if you go to a store and you see the PS4 logo, it'll run on your PS4. Like that.
Right.
At the end of the day,
Exactly. it's a compatibility. You see
it's
it
just
and it works.
it's just it's just a slightly it's a slightly different way of thinking about it. But
I've
really,
come-
at the end of the day, it's the same thing.
They are close to that, like home assistant, because I mean they're DVD player, they're Netflix, they're streaming
Right.
box.
It has
they're,
everything.
Like, almost
it has
everything.
internet capability.
Maybe people would be more open to this now, but in 2012, when they unveiled the Xbox One, they really pushed it as like a home center rather than like a gaming console. And
Right.
Right,
people
but they
hated
also
it.
pushed it as a Connect machine.
They also
Like,
pushed it as like a we're going to send data to the government machine.
So,
Right, but now like everything does that. People are more open to it.
Exactly. People are more comfortable.
people are
with it.
more open to sending their data to the government.
It was reading your fucking heart rate, dude.
I mean,
Like,
when you have an always-on speaker
Government needs
in
to
your
know that.
house, like it's kind of
It listens to you all the time.
yeah.
yeah.
You know, Big Brother's always watching. We've known that for years.
So I
do
have.
think it- oh, sorry.
Ryan,
Tim,
you go.
ahead. No, I've been talking too much. Go ahead.
No, you haven't. I was kind of thinking about this a second ago. I think what they should do, I think what Xbox should do, I think their business model going forward should be kind of what we've been like, kind of hinting at. I think that they need to stop competing with PlayStation on the basis of like, oh, we're pretend 4K and like 60 frames or 45 frames a thing and They should be selling Xbox no longer at a loss for like reasonable price with reasonable / like mid to low tier PC components. You know what I mean? But you have the name brand that's Xbox, that consumers know it's going to work, that there is, compatible games. You can pick it up, you can bring it home, you can use it, you will have games for it. I think that's the way going forwards if you're Xbox. And then you can leverage kind of like what we were talking about with like the Windows Store, whatever you want to do. But I don't think, without exclusives, I don't know how you get people to cough up the money to subsidize the production of your expensive console units.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I think this kind of ties in nicely with what Jeremy said. I think the key is really you have to innovate. You have to know what's going to work for you. Nintendo can do the out there stuff, and their market's always kind of been kids. Sony's got the exclusive stuff, and they're doing fine with that. Microsoft needs to, if they want to keep the Xbox on the market, they need to find their market, because
They also need
They need
exclusives.
exclusive.
well, they also
Everyone needs
You
exclusives.
can live without exclusives if you like. PC doesn't. I mean, they have some
Right.
exclusives, but we don't buy PC for exclusives per
right,
se.
exactly. If you
you
can
buy
make
them-
it do
yeah.
something else, if you can
It
make
needs
it
to do
worth
something.
more than just a game console that doesn't have too many exclusives on it.
Like, I think if you can make it at a price point and a component kind of PowerPoint, that it's a reasonable alternative for people who are thinking about building or buying a low tier PC, but you know that you're going to have the support that comes with Xbox and all those other things and not have to deal with updates and blah, blah, blah. And you just prefer having a console, then I think that could be like a road. That's potentially a market of people.
I think that's what the One X is, though. It's $500 4K, better than PS4 Pro.
No, I'm saying the opposite. I'm saying stop trying to be better than PS4 Pro, because that's what that is. By trying to be better than PS4 Pro, you have made a machine that's too expensive to manufacture at a profitable, sales point. I'm saying build a machine that is not pretend 4K. Like build
Not to
something that's
mention-
1080p. Build something that's 30 frames per second, but costs $250.
Not to mention they don't have what makes the PS4 Pro profitable, which is the exclusives.
Which is what I'm saying. You can make an argument to me that I should cough up $500 for a PS4 Pro because I'm going to get access to that library of exclusives. And again, I imagine Sony probably also sells the PS4 Pro at a loss, unless they're still using like slaves in Central Africa to fucking get the materials for their CPUs or whatever.
They are.
Yeah, they are, but it's still probably at a loss. But they have leverage with the exclusives. Xbox doesn't have that, so I think the answer is stop selling your units at a loss. Make them at a reasonable price where you can tap consumers who are looking for a more budget-friendly console game playing option.
And actually support it properly.
And support it
that's
properly.
That's the other thing. You're ignoring, you're glossing over like all of the failed Xbox 360s from launch. you're glossing over like all of the patches that they've released for their operating systems and games that have just like broken things.
I mean, even
No, I
the
remember
Xbox
my
One,
the first time
Yeah.
I ever blue screened a computer was trying to install a patch for Microsoft's Midtown Motor Madness. Chicago edition.
I mean, like just quickly, the Microsoft releases recently. I mean, PUBG was their big 2017 one, I would say. Maybe Forza, but both like PUBG is shit on the Xbox. Forza
Also, they just
had
they
issues.
they bought exclusivity for PUBG. It's coming to PS4 at the end of the year. It's on mobile. It's
Right.
like
Sea of Thieves has issues, and like Sony's exclusives are out of this world. I mean, Shadow of the Colossus came out this year. Like that's enough to carry a system as it is.
God of War comes out in a month.
God of War, MLB The Show, which is not up our alley, but brings in
The
a
last
ton of
big.
people.
The Last of Us 2 might be coming
Last
out.
of Us 2. Red Dead.
Or Red Dead's Xbox.
Well, I guess, yeah. Fuck.
Cough, cough. Death Stranding,
Cough,
maybe.
There we go.
Hey, that's my boy.
Jake's got it.
All right. Well, do we have any kind of closing thoughts on this? I think we all agree that we're sad.
I'm
I
not
really
sad.
want.
I'm not
I-
really
well,
sad.
I wanted to see it
Microsoft
be
gets
good.
what's
What do I
coming
care?
to them.
I want to see
don't
them
know.
take an interesting
No, well,
direction.
So
They
I
won't.
I liked
Fine.
Microsoft's IP. I'm just upset that they're not supporting them
Right.
properly.
They don't support their games. Like they don't support their people. Once they have your money. That's it.
They don't
Like,
support
Don't
dick.
expect anything else from them.
Like, yeah. I mean, I'm sad.
They sell the number one thing they do is sell fucking computer operating systems. They don't support that shit.
You sad, dude.
I'm sad.
You shouldn't be.
We're gonna leave this video. Well, Brian, I'm gonna go be sad. Do you want to talk to the channel?
No, I don't actually. It's not because I don't want to talk to the people. It's because you were very rude to me the last episode.
All right. So I gotta tell them.
No, you did my thing, and I'm salty about it, and I just want to get that on the table. And I'm not gonna be doing it. I'm not gonna be doing it.
All right, Brian's not
upset.
gonna be doing it. So
Tired.
every every like and comment really helps us out. If you guys comment or have any ideas for videos you want us to make, just throw them down there, and we'll definitely consider it. We'll definitely respond. We'll make this a discussion. Shares are also great. Subs are the best. We will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.